Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to all you PMOs, PMEs, POMOs, POMEs, and PIMQs. Welcome to the world, the podcast where we discuss all things related to the process of waking up, walking out, and moving on from life as a Jehovah's Witness. I'm Dr. Ryan Lee, a former JW with a doctorate in clinical psychology and a practicing therapist, specializing in helping former JWs and other former cult members move through the recovery and rebuilding process. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to continue with part 2 of this episode on rebuilding your community and upping your social game. I'm going to cover 10 general strategies and guidelines that'll help you in your quest to rebuild your community and form authentic connections with other people. Once again, I'm getting the feeling like I'm treating this like a Tonight Show, or what is it? Late Show with David Letterman. They used to do top 10s. So here's the top 10 things to help you in your quest to rebuild your community. Okay, starting with number 1. I'm putting this at the top of the list because I do feel it is the most important, which is prioritize putting energy on a weekly, if not daily basis into the task of rebuilding your community. As we touched on, we need community. This is not something we can skip over. And it's going to take time, and most likely won't come together as quickly as you'd like. But it will come together, provided you put in steady effort. Conversely, if you never put yourself out there or build up the courage to risk rejection, your life in 10 years from now will most likely look exactly the same as it does today. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? I don't think so. So, what does this mean in practice? Well, in short, it means taking advantage of every opportunity possible to connect with people. As we discussed, this is partially a numbers game. If only 1 or 2 people out of 100 are for you, but you only meet about 5 new people every year, this process could take like 20 years for you to find the right connection. So put yourself out there, take a group class on some hobby that you have interest in. If you're single, experiment with dating apps. Or you can use an app like Bumble that allows you to find other people that are just looking to make friends. You could volunteer at a local shelter or an organization that builds housing for underprivileged communities. Or just take a chance and ask that coworker you get along with to go grab drinks after work or maybe watch the game. I'm sure you're all very aware of this, but meetup.com is an excellent resource that shows you various events happening in your community covering a wide range of interests. Even ex-JW meetups. And most of them are really just excuses for people who want to make friends and bond over a common interest. So yeah, seek out anything and everything that will put you in contact with other human bodies. If someone invites you to something, just say yes. Even if it just sounds like not your thing, just say yes. Just go, provided there's no danger involved. Please, just go. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. And don't be so picky when you're starting out. Of course we all want the super best friends forever for life thing. But for now, it's really about practicing your conversational skills, developing the capacity to find connections and learn from people you wouldn't normally expect to relate to. Okay, moving on to number 2. I would strongly encourage you not to hide your JW past. A lot of my clients express hesitation about letting other people know about their experiences being part of JWs. And I get it. There's a sense of embarrassment. Sometimes it's linked with a sense of personal shame that we had been taken in and fooled by this organization for so long. We worry about what people will think of us, that they'll think we're weird, or that if they know this about us, then it'll just further increase our feeling of alienation. I would like to challenge that, though. In my experience, the vast majority of people are fascinated to understand what it was like to be part of a cult. I can't tell you how many parties where all the attention is just shifted towards me once I mention this Jehovah's Witness past. People are fascinated. And it can be an excellent icebreaker in the right circumstances, especially in those early stages when we're trying to figure out how to connect with normal people. People are not only curious to hear about the inner workings of the organization straight from an insider, but generally speaking, in my experience anyways, they tend to hold you in a slightly higher regard after understanding your journey, and recognizing the courage you needed to escape these circumstances. And then on top of that, it doesn't always work this way, but it's not uncommon that when people hear this story, they're filled with this desire to take you under their wing a bit, after learning what you've been through. They'll do this thing like, oh my God, you've never celebrated your birthday? Oh my God, we have to do this. We have to make a big celebration. Oh, you've never gone out drinking? You've never seen a rated R movie? Are you kidding me? Oh my God, let's go see Deadpool or whatever the fuck. you know? This is not uncommon. Not everybody, but this is not uncommon. People get really excited to experience this new world through your eyes, and it can be a beautiful bonding experience. And this provides a beautiful segue, thank you very much, to number 3, which is sharing the things that are vulnerable to us or that we might be inclined to hide for fear of rejection. They actually bring us closer to other people. It simultaneously elicits empathy, and it also signals to them that it's safe to share their vulnerabilities as well. And this is the stuff that connections are built on. It brings you both closer, you share this thing that you don't share with everybody. One easy example of how sharing vulnerability can work for you is in relation to your social anxiety. There's been so many times I've been at a party or a social event, and I still carry quite a bit of social anxiety. But depending on my mood, if someone asks how I'm doing, I might choose to be honest and say, it's a bit intense being around all these people, or I'm having a little trouble adjusting to all this social energy. And I can't tell you how many times the person I'm talking to goes, oh my God, me too. I thought I was the only one. And then we have a fun time bonding over our various neuroses. Okay. Moving along to number 4. This is a super useful one that I have implemented and I continue to use as a social strategy. This is tried and true for 2 decades, which is when you don't know what to talk about, just ask questions. People love talking about themselves, and they tend to like you even more when you express a genuine interest in them. Another way to say this is that one of the best ways to be interesting is to be interested. I'm going to say that again. I like this one. One of the best ways to be interesting is to be interested. An easy way to do this is just pick the most interesting part of whatever somebody says and ask a question about it. So, you might ask somebody how their day was, and they say, oh, I had breakfast with my sister. And if you're interested in food, you might ask what they ate or where they ate. And that might open the way for additional culinary discussion. I don't know. I'm not a foodie. For me, I am endlessly fascinated by family dynamics. So if that was presented to me, I might ask them, oh, are you and your sister close? And has that always been the case? And if so, what happened? What changed? That kind of thing. You get the idea. But again, it's just such a useful one to fall back on. When you're panicking and you don't know what to talk about next, just come up with any question that will move the conversation forward. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be a question that then invites the other person to participate. So building on this idea, let's move on to number 5. Keep in mind that good conversation is not as much about exchanging information, but it's about shared emotion. We get so caught up in having talking points, thinking about what we're going to say next, and then worrying about running out of things to say. And it's fine to keep a few ideas in your back pocket, but remember, it's not really about the words, or you listing off everything that you did today, or getting through a story that you've told 1,000 times. Those things are all just jumping off points for emotional connection. They're the starting points that ideally lead to the conversation having a life of its own. So don't put so much energy into trying to control the direction of the interaction, but instead look for pockets of feeling and excitement and pursue those opportunities. I'm currently doing this as we speak. I am reading a script that I had written for today. And yeah, sometimes I am just catching myself just saying things, and this is important for you to hear because it is good stuff to say. But I bet you guys can feel when I'm feeling it versus when I'm not feeling it. When I'm just sort of reading shit off the page versus where I'm actually experiencing the thing that I'm trying to say, I'm betting you feel it in this moment. So again, that's the thing we're feeling out for. And we may not find it in every conversation, but that's the thing we're going for. Emotional connection. Okay, trucking along to number 6. Keep in mind that most people do feel some degree of anxiety around social situations. You're not alone. We all want to be loved and accepted, and we carry some fear of rejection. We're all scared and we cringe so deeply when we fumble our words or make a joke that doesn't land. But here's the good news in number 7. Here we go, coming at you at number 7 on Ryan Lee's Top 40. Yeah, here's the good news. Because we are so self-absorbed in monitoring our own behavior, nobody places as nearly anywhere near as much importance or even notices your goof-ups as much as you do. Keep that in mind and use it to your favor. Now, that said, if you go the other way with it and you place a lot of importance on your goof-ups in a way that causes you to draw further attention to your insecurities, like calling yourself stupid or saying something like, oh, I can never get anything right or whatever, then yeah, you may inadvertently draw more attention to yourself than necessary, and we will all remember it. But in most cases, when you find yourself in an awkward moment, the best move is just keep moving, let it drop, and remind yourself that you have infinite chances to redeem yourself even if anybody noticed. If someone happens to call attention to your goof up, then fine, do your best to just play along, laugh at yourself, or even better, you can call out your own goof up in a playful way, showing other people that you don't take yourself too seriously. People like that. Okay, moving on to number 8. I'm enjoying that voice. So number 8 is about the fact that you are very worried that everyone is judging you. And here's the bad news. They are. Everybody is judging everybody all the time. Generally not with the same weight that you're used to from the Jehovah's Witnesses, but yeah. Humans are judging machines. We're always taking in various kinds of data about the people we're interacting with in order to create a working model for understanding other people to the best of our ability. And of course, we also apply this judging mechanism to ourselves, almost always more harshly than other people do. But here's the thing. With a few exceptions, the consequences of this judgment are not the same as it was with the JWs. Judgments from JWs can result in ostracism from the community based on petty disapprovals of what kind of movies you watch or opinions you hold. In the real world, you may be treated as an outcast, I suppose, if you decide to tell other people about your passion for kicking puppies. But generally speaking, people have a much more mature understanding that everyone out there has something about them that we don't like. And that doesn't mean we can't still be friends. Which brings us to number 9. Expect that everybody will disappoint you in some way. This is part of being human. We're told that people in the world are generally terrible. And so when we inevitably encounter imperfections or behaviors which are seemingly out of integrity, we're quick to see that as evidence of their awfulness. Again, another example of confirmation bias coming into play. But all of us, as great and beautiful and awesome as we are, we're all kind of fucking terrible in some aspect. This is what we refer to as the shadow self. Another episode, we might dig more into that. But yeah, these shadowy aspects of ourselves that are not so pretty and maybe make us act in ways that are out of integrity. And everybody has this, or at the very least, there's just some behavior or point of view in everyone that we are going to disagree with or dislike. That doesn't mean we can't still be friends, okay? We don't all have to agree. Now, in some cases, the nature of the disagreement might play a role in how close of friends we want to be with that person. But most of the time, we can still maintain a connection and just enjoy the things we do have in common. We don't need to keep a running list of who's in and who's out. We just need to pay attention of who we enjoy spending time with and who we do not enjoy spending time with, and let that be the biggest metric. And this segues nicely into our final item, number 10, which is don't put all your social eggs in one goddamn basket, okay? It's a rare thing to find one person that satisfies all of your needs for emotional connection. This is just a fantasy. This just doesn't really happen in real life. Different people have different things to offer. The guy I like to have a few beers with because he knows how to laugh and have a good time may not be the same person I want to talk to when I need to process big emotional issues, which might not be the same person I want to have a deep philosophical or intellectual debate with, which I'll just keep this going, which may not be the person I want to play sports with. You get the idea. Most people have something in them that is beautiful and will enrich our life in some form, in some way. So please, diversify your portfolio. Make lots of different types of friends for lots of different types of occasions. Spread the love. It is not a finite quantity. We can love lots of different people in lots of different ways. Okay, so in closing, if you take nothing else away from this episode, let me reiterate some of what I think are the main points. Number 1, which is we need community. It's an essential aspect of being human, and the majority of us will suffer if we neglect this area of life. We got to put the work into. And yeah, in order to build community, we have to be willing to take conscious steps to create opportunities for connection. There's no way around that. There's no wandering group of friends out there that are like just going door to door until they find you. And they're like, oh my God, you're one of us. No, it doesn't work that way. You gotta put in the work. You gotta go out there. You gotta take some hits, and you gotta experience some disappointment when things don't go the way you wish they would. Which brings me to my final point, which is as we embark on this adventure, we must have patience. Most people will not be for you. And even when you meet the people who are for you, it'll still take a little time to develop a depth of connection in these relationships. So be patient, have trust, put one foot in front of the other, get yourself out there, do a thing, just be around another human body and start from there. It is so important and so worthwhile, and I promise you, if you put in the effort, you will find your tribe. You will find your community. And for what it's worth, I hope you know this. You're already part of this community. We may not know each other, but I suspect from hearing me talking that you know I get where you're coming from. And it's not just me. There's just so many of us and more. Oh my God, since the pandemic, it's just people have been coming out of the woodworks. I have more clients that I know what to do with. There are so many people out there. Your community is out there. And I'm so excited for you, for the day when you have put in the work and you have made friends and made connections that you don't even really think about this XJW community too much. I know it sounds a little sad, but that is a beautiful outcome and absolutely within your reach. So please, prioritize this. This is important. Make those connections. Find your people. Find your tribe.
Friends sing together. La 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 la. Friends do things together. La 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 la. Friends laugh together.
Okay, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please, I'm begging you, please just hit that little subscribe button and leave us a review and pay it forward by sharing this podcast with other people. Okay, I'm asking a lot. I'm asking a lot. How about just a small request? Just scroll down, just take a second, and just use your thumb to hit that little 5-star button. It really helps a lot. It makes a difference. It really does. Okay, stopping with the begging. If you have any questions, feedback, or ideas for future topics, email me at drryanlee@drryanlee.com or visit my website at drryanlee.com. Until next time, remember, you are brave. You are strong. You are so lovable and likable to a very select portion of this population. So go fucking find them. But until you do find them, keep in mind, you, my friend, are not alone.
Friends, 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 la 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 la. Friends, 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 la 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 la. Friends, 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 la 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 la. Friends, la la la.